Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will call the December 4th meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll to determine a quorum.
Alderperson Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Probst.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Sangstedt.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
Chaplesky.
Here.
10 present, none excused.
We have a quorum. Alderman Tom Lysick will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start on our public hearings this evening, I'm going to ask everybody that they may need to speak a little louder and have the projection be a little bit bigger because Gary Barzak turned 60 yesterday, and he's going to be wearing those special glasses from Walgreens now, and happy birthday, Gary. We have 6 items for public hearing this evening. I will ask clerk to read item number 1.
A hearing on the improvement of West Grant Street from South 76th Street to South 84th Street and portions of intersecting streets by concrete reconstruction, new driveway approaches, miscellaneous sidewalk repair, storm sewer relay, sanitary sewer relay, water main relay, building services, and utility adjustments.
Mr. Daniels.
Thank you. Okay, this is the public hearing for West Grant Street. The procedure for tonight is I will go through the project scope and cost. We will discuss assessment rates and methods of payment. We'll have comments and questions from the Common Council and then from citizens affected. And then the hearing will be closed and the project will be referred to the Board of Public Works and a decision probably will be made later tonight. So here are the project limits of Grant Street from South 76th Street on the east to South 84th Street on the west. Here are some pictures from the pavement that's out there. The paving and the curb and gutter were installed between the years of 1928 and 1930. So this pavement is 83 years old. It's severely deteriorated. Here's some more pictures of lots of potholes to be filled. Routine maintenance is very difficult and expensive. The pavement is cracking. The base underneath has completely failed. The pavement's also, it's an old seal coat pavement, so it's flushing, it's rutting. It has what we call alligator cracking. It's just one big crack and pothole. Whoops, that one's out of order. Okay, the project will also include, in conjunction with the paving, we're going to be offering the installation of sump pumps, as well as a partial replacement of your sanitary lateral at no additional cost to the homeowner, a value of $4,000. The work will be paid through MMSD's private property inflow and infiltration removal program. The work will be done on a volunteer basis, and it is probable that in the future, the installation of sump pumps would be something that would be required of all homeowners. The project will also include the removal or replacement of deteriorated curb and gutter, pavement, and driveways. The sidewalk will be replaced where needed. The existing carriage walks would be replaced to meet the new pavement. There would be some new storm sewer, the existing sewers from 1922. There would be new sanitary sewer, the existing sanitary sewers from 1909 to 1937. There would be some new water main, the existing water mains from 1917 to 1928. We also would be installing new streetlight poles, cable, and duct. Storm sewer laterals would be installed to the building if the resident opts to go with the sump pump. And street parking, if needed, will be provided from neighboring streets. Parking permits would be provided at no charge. This is a picture of the typical finished product, new concrete street, curb and gutter, and sidewalk repairs where needed. Here's the cost breakdown for the project. The paving portion of the project would be $732,000, street lighting $51,000, sanitary sewer $176,000, storm sewer $320,000, water main $280,000. So the total cost of the project would be $1.5 million. The assessment rate for residential property is $50.18 and $62 for commercial properties. And for those residents who have a driveway, the replacement for the driveway is $6.26 per square foot. The assessments for all of the residents combined will bring in a total of $122,400, which is 17% of this top number, the paving cost. Here's a sample special assessment. Most of the properties along Grant Street are corner properties. So Grant Street is probably the long side of their property. So we do give a discount for the longer side of your property. You get 60% off. So it'd be 120 feet times 40%. So you're paying for 48 feet at the $50.18 per foot, plus the storm sewer lateral, $561. So the average homeowner would be paying about $2,969.64. The payment options include a lump sum payment, 5-year plan, or a 10-year plan. It's important to note that the bills would not be mailed out until about March of 2014. So you have until then to decide which option you would like to take. If you were to take the 10-year plan over a 10-year period, we do have 4% interest. So the payment in the first year, which would be 2014, would be $416, and the payment in the 10th year, which would be 2023, is $309. The city has funded projects with special assessments for over 100 years. Properties that receive a unique benefit from the project have historically been assessed up to 100% of the project. But in this case, special assessments are only accounting for about 17% of the project cost. In West Dallas, as I just said, we have for 100 years, we have special assessed the residents. This map shows the past 10 years. Every property that has a color has been special assessed in the past 10 years. So any of these colored properties could still be on the 10-year plan. And I show this to make everyone aware that all of your neighbors have also been special assessed almost 100%. Here is the project, and many of the residents on this project have paid for alleys in the recent past as well. So everyone in the city is paying for their fair share. You pay for the road in front of your house, and then you use somebody else's street, but you don't pay for that street. You only pay for the street in front of your house. The city does borrow the funds for the paving portion of this project. The city will have to pay interest to these municipal bondholders over the next 10 years. So this is why we pass along the interest charge of 4%, because we have to pay the bondholders. The city does not make a profit off the interest that we charge. So at this time, if there's any comments or questions from the Common Council?
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Do we have any questions from the aldermen on this item?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Rote?
Pete, if I may, with this lateral relining, and again, everybody, it's a good deal. A lot of these houses are the corner houses, so they might front on 82nd, 83rd, 84th. They're really not on. Where are their laterals going to now start dumping into Grant, or are we still going to do the corner lots where the laterals go into the numbered streets?
They will have the option of getting the lateral off of Grant Street. That's certainly an option, unless they already have one off of their other street. So,
Any other questions from the council? Seeing none, are there any questions from the audience on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close public hearing number 1, and I'll ask our clerk to read number 2.
A hearing on the special use permit for Experience Fitness to be located within the West Dallas Town Center at 6706 West Greenfield Avenue.
Mr. Scher?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our first item here is a special use for the Experience Fitness. They have roughly 14 locations in Wisconsin currently, and this would be the 5th in the Milwaukee metro area. What they're proposing to do is occupy about 25,000 square feet of the south end cap of what was once Allis-Chalmers. The building consists of, it was actually built in 1930, The overall site, as is shown here, is roughly about 4 acres, and then this darker black outline, or this yellow outline here, shows the extent of the proposed lease area. This is a view of the overall site. Again, Ramco Gershenson owns the property, which is otherwise known as the town center. This shows the approximate location within the town center. This is Burger King, Greenfield Avenue on the south. The property is Zone C3, Community Commercial. The health and fitness clubs are permitted as a special use. The overall area of 25,000 square foot is proposed, and that's on the main floor. The gym will operate as a 24-hour, 7 days a week fitness facility, and it'll offer numerous types of facilities such as group fitness, personal training, cardio, spinning. The site, the overall site, provides over 1,000 parking spaces, and 167 are required for the use. Just a closer look at the interior layout. The bottom here is the south wall facing Greenfield Avenue. The entrance would be facing west towards Kmart. And so upon entering the lobby, a tanning and sales area, cardio area, women's and men's locker, weight room, cardio, cinema, group exercise, and so on. The Plan Commission has recommended various improvements to the overall site as part of the special use. Most notably, some new landscape areas along the south elevation of the building, as well as the eastern perimeter of the site, along the railroad tracks and along the border with Toshiba here to the east. So Plan Commission has recommended approval, and there have been no objections to date. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Mr. Scher. Do we have any questions from the council on this item?
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Weigel.
Steve, I remember in the past we had a special use in that area, and we had looked at better access either from the buses, and I think we took care of that, but was there a pedestrian connection from the east? Is there still that little Desire Line path over the grass there? I'm thinking from people who are walking on Greenfield Avenue from the east to approach this site. Has that been dealt with?
Yeah, no, it's actually, well, we do have one pedestrian connection from Greenfield here, closer to the Burger King, the bus stop area. But to the east, to your point, Alderman Weigel, this area here is not. Right now, you have the public sidewalk along Greenfield Avenue, and your entry point is here. If you're
Well, I understand that pedestrians have a tendency to walk the most direct route, and I think if you go there today, you'll see that there's always that patch of dead grass there. And I guess I'm curious why the Plan Commission or staff didn't address that at this time, because now would be the time to fix that. Was it addressed, it just was concerned about cost, or it just wasn't looked at?
It wasn't addressed. I think the rationale being the rail spur, and now that's not frequently used, but we could take a closer look at that if that's the desire of the council.
Well, and even if it isn't just at the rail spur, maybe another 20 feet to the west there. I mean,
Here.
I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. I'm just, like I said, it was something that's been brought up in the past, and now would be the time to take a look at it.
Okay,
Thank you.
will do.
Thank you, Alderman. Are there any other questions from the council? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience on this item? Okay, we will close public hearing number 2, and I will ask clerk to read number 3.
A hearing on the special use permit for Oscar's Frozen Custard to establish a drive-through addition to the existing restaurant located at 2362 South 108th Street.
Mr. Scher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oscar's Frozen Custard is proposing additions on their building as well as a drive-through. The site is owned by Jim and Susie Taylor, and they've owned the site for many years. It was originally built in the early 60s. And what we have here is more or less the existing building and site with access points off of Hayes and then 3 along Highway 100. The drive-through would be proposed on the north side of the existing building, along with another 530 square foot addition, which would allow for up to 16 additional patrons for indoor eating and dining. On the south side of the building, you would have another 400 square foot addition to enclose the bathrooms. If you've been to Oscars before, you know you have to exit the building and enter the bathrooms from outside the building. This will accommodate your need from within the building. So roughly about 1,000 square feet in total of additional square footage, which would also include the drive-through. The queue for the drive-through would be here. It's hard to see, but the drive-through lane wraps around the east side of the building and then winds out the north, and then you exit onto Highway 100 either here, existing driveway, or a northernmost point further to the north. The property is required to have 22 parking spaces, and 60 are provided on the site after all is said and done with the additions. The hours of operation would remain the same, essentially 10 a.m. until midnight, 7 days a week. The desired look would keep the red barn look with new projection on the north elevation with a barn-style, hip-style roof, additional brick, railing to prevent pedestrian traffic from it's basically channeling it for safety into the property as it would be crossing the drive-through lane here. And then on the south side of the building, this is where the restrooms would be enclosed, and also an entrance vestibule here as well. This is just a view from the southeast corner of the building, looking at the drive-through. And Plan Commission has recommended approval. There have been no objections to date.
Thank you, Mr. Scher. Are there any questions from the Common Council on this item?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Reike.
I did view the plan, and at that time, there were 2 parking spaces that were supposed to be for the handicapped. Was that changed at all?
The handicap parking is there. I'll show you here. It's currently here. There's 1 stall on the south side of the building, and there are 2 parking stalls on the north side of the new addition. The Plan Commission had recommended that these 2 parking stalls be relocated somewhere else on the site. The Plan Commission felt that this was a little bit of a conflict here with people pulling in and backing out of these handicap stalls, that it'd be better to relocate them either on the south side of the building or maybe another on the south and one on the north. So that's what the Plan Commission recommended, is to eliminate these 2 handicap ADA stalls from this location and relocate them somewhere else on the site.
Is the owner agreeable to that change?
Yes, he is. Yeah, Jim was at the Plan Commission meeting and agreed to relocating these, and that will be solved.
I have to say, on behalf of Mr. Taylor, he always has been a good neighbor. He always has cooperated with any problems that have arisen at his place of business, and I'm glad that we will be changing that particular area, because I'm very concerned about a handicapped person backing out and somebody entering at the same driveway. This will probably make it a lot safer.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the Common Council on this item? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience on this item? Seeing none, we will close public hearing number 3, and I will ask the clerk to read number 4.
A hearing on a special use permit amendment to expand the hours of operation for Urban Joe's Cafe, a proposed coffee shop restaurant with outdoor dining to be located at 7028 West Greenfield Avenue.
Mr. Scher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was before the Common Council and approved in October, early October of this year. The applicant would like to expand the hours of operation. Previously approved were the hours of 6:30 a.m. until 8 p.m. What's being asked for here is an expansion of the hours from an hour earlier in the morning to 6 a.m. or from 5 a.m. until midnight daily. The applicant feels that this is just more realistic, these hours, for operating a coffee shop. There will be some other offerings within this store as well as such as bakery and sandwiches, light menu items. There are 9 parking stalls on the site, and the property is zoned Central Business District C1, which permits restaurants as special uses. The modification of the resolution's hours, though, did require us to come back and present this for public hearing this evening. Planning Commission has recommended approval of the request for the change in hours, and there have been no objections to date.
Thank you, Mr. Scher. Do we have any questions from the Common Council on this item? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience on this item? You guys are a quiet bunch. We'll close public hearing number 4 and move on to public hearing number 5.
A hearing on the special use permit for Leadership, Literacy, and Technology Development Center, a proposed child care center to be located at 9243 West National Avenue.
Mr. Scher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the former Westfall property, Westfall Photography, as some may recognize it. The proposal here is for the Leadership, Literacy, and Technology group to establish a daycare within this facility. It's Zone C2 Neighborhood Commercial District, and daycare facilities are permitted as a special use. The daycare is roughly a little over 2,000 square feet in area. There will be 18 children per shift with between the ages of 6 and 12, and the hours, as stated, are 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. The site doesn't offer very much parking. It was built in the 1920s, and we didn't have, I guess, the parking facilities then that we're accustomed to now, but the lot for the most part is built out. There is a 2-car garage on the rear portion of the property. The garage is utilized by the tenants. It's a mixed-use property with a residential apartment, and the tenants use that, the parking spaces there. The rest of the parking for customers and employees will be along the commercial street frontages of 93rd and National. There is ample street parking. The daycare is also requesting a loading zone permit area for drop-off and pickup of children here along 93rd Street. It was previously proposed for National Avenue, but in speaking with the Plan Commission and the applicant, it was decided that this is probably the best location, the safest location in the area. The play area will be behind the building, and there will also be a 6-foot-high wood fence along the east property line. The Plan Commission has recommended approval, and there are no objections to date.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments from the council on public hearing number 5? Okay, seeing none, do we have any questions or comments from the audience on public hearing number 5? Seeing none, we will close our 5th public hearing, and I will ask the clerk to read number 6.
A hearing on the special use permit to establish Berry Pizzeria Restaurant located within a portion of the mixed-use property at 5919 West Burnham Street.
Mr. Scher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bari Pizza is a proposed pizzeria looking to occupy a portion of the property on the southeast corner of 60th and Burnham. You may recognize it, the Danny's Lounge, numerous bars over the years. Also, on the rear portion of this property, behind this building here, it's hard to see right there, but this one is a smaller 600 square foot building or tenant space. This is separate from the bar, separate business. They're going to operate a pizzeria from this location. It's permitted as a special use within the C2 zoning district. Various, obviously the pizza, bread, soft drinks, liquor license is not requested by the applicant. The operations will be from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. daily. carry-out and delivery service. Really not any room within the building for seating, maybe a table, but that'll just be for someone waiting for their order. The owner has expressed a potential desire for outdoor seating on this existing patio area. It's not part of this proposal tonight, but it may come back to us in the future. The parking required is 4 stalls for the restaurant, and there are no parking stalls available on site. This is just a closer look at the overall property. Majority of the property is occupied by the tavern. This is the subject special use this evening, roughly about a 600 square foot space on the east side of the property facing Burnham Street. The interior arrangement consists of storefront windows, an entry lobby area, waiting area, counter, and kitchen, with a small office and restroom. The Plan Commission has recommended approval of this special use. There has been one objection to date relative to just the incidents over the years, and another concern was that there were too many restaurants and bars within the area. But other than that, Plan Commission has recommended approval, and I have no further comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are there any questions, comments from the council on public hearing number 6?
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Vitale.
Yeah, of course, I'm familiar with the area, you know. To me, I mean, again, you know, parking is restricted, but those buildings, of course, they've been there from the late 1900, you know. So the way I look at it, the building, you know, off and on has been vacant. You know, it's a pizzeria. I mean, it's not going to sell any liquors or any other things that were really in regard to alcohol. So you probably will have some soda, go along out with the pizza. So, well, I would have no problem with. You know, I understand there is the neighbor concerned about what's been occurring in the past, but for a pizzeria, I mean, I'm not going to stood up and be against, you know, for somebody to more or less to revive that corner, that building, you know, to make some money on it. So I'm in favor for it.
Thank you, Alderman. Are there any other questions, comments from the council? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close public hearing number 6. We will now move on to item E on your agendas, citizen participation. This is an opportunity for residents to address the council on any matters of interest to them. We ask that you keep your comments to approximately 5 minutes and state your name and address for the record, please. Is there anybody who wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
My name is Ernest J. Pagels, Jr. I live at 1703 South 115th Court, apartment number 6, West Allis, Wisconsin. I want to apologize to Common Council and apologize to Rose Renicky for publicly attacking her on the November 20th Common Council meeting. I want to apologize. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other public hearing or citizen participation, rather?
My name is Russell Retzak. I live at 1441 South 68th Street at the Landmark. I came tonight for a very specific purpose. I noted that most of the summer we had a problem traveling between 84th and 92nd on National Avenue for obvious reasons. But the result certainly justifies the inconvenience. And I wish to commend both the designer of that particular project and the manner in which it was executed. I think it's a first-rate piece of work, and the result is a wonderful investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we will close citizen participation. We'll move on to item F on your agendas. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. The room numbers are on page 2. Miscellaneous business, the mayor's report. Just have a couple things to touch on. Back on the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving, as some of you may have heard on the radio, Kid and Elizabeth from the Mix were out doing Stuff the Bus at Pick and Save on Greenfield. And I want to thank the DOT for arranging some large signage to allow people to actually find that Pick and Save with all the construction going on that intersection. It was a very successful event. I know that our police department and fire department both stopped by and donated, as well as a lot of other city representatives. I also want to thank the volunteers and commend the Christmas Parade Committee and everybody who organized all the events in City Hall over the weekend for the parade and the tree lighting, and thank Alderman Vitale for his role in that. I heard the attendance was fantastic, and it was a very beautiful evening and a very well-attended event. And I already threw a few jabs at Alderman Barzak, so I won't throw that in again. But we will move on now to Alderperson's comments. Do we have any Alderperson's comments this evening?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman May?
If you haven't listened or heard the radio, watched TV, there are open house meetings occurring tomorrow from 4 to 7 p.m. at State Fair Park, and December 6th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Marquette University High School. It's regarding I-94 and some draft plans that have been prepared for what I-94 may look like between 25th Street and 70th Street. I got a preview of it last week. I'll just say it's interesting. Show up, provide your comments, and we look forward to your input as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other Alderperson's comments?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Probst.
Just a reminder that Alderman Weigel and I have our next listening session on Thursday night at the Constitution Room at the West Dallas Public Library at 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Alderman. Are there any other Alderperson's comments this evening? Alderman Lysick.
Mayor Devine, Ms. Clerk, are there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda?
There are no changes.
With that, I would move for approval of the agenda as printed.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Reinke. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council regular meeting of November 20th, 2012.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman May. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We will move on to item J, items not referred to committee. Alderman Lysick, do you want to take
Mayor
number
Devine.
7?
At this time, I'd like to ask Chief Youngbluth to come forward.
Chief.
It's a good view from up here. A good view from up here.
This is a resolution of commendation for Mike Youngbluth. Whereas Mike Youngbluth, Police Chief, will retire from office on December 31st, 2012, after more than 29 years of public service, having served as a police chief for the city of West Dallas since October of 2008. And whereas Mike received his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from Mount Senario College in 1991, and whereas during his career, Mike has served the citizens of West Dallas in many different capacities, including patrol officer, corporal of police, sergeant of police, lieutenant of police, captain of police, deputy chief administration, acting chief, and finally as chief of police. And whereas Mike possesses an outstanding record of certificates of completion for law enforcement training and advancement, and whereas Mike has a long list of accomplishments, including numerous commendation awards for actions taken in the line of duty during his career, and whereas Mike has received many awards and letters of recognition, commendation, and thanks for exemplary leadership and service to other law enforcement agencies, and whereas Mike looks forward to spending quality time with his family and friends and spending time riding his Harley and hoping to make some trips to a few Civil War battle sites, and whereas Mike is deserving of special commendation for his many contributions to his profession and to making West Dallas a better place to live and work. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of West Dallas that Mike Youngbluth, Police Chief, be and is hereby specially commended for his dedication and service to the citizens of West Dallas and congratulates him for a job well done. Be it further resolved that the Common Council hereby extends to Mike Youngbluth its best wishes for a long, prosperous, and healthy retirement. Let this resolution be entered into the official minutes of the Common Council, and certified copy go forth to Mike Youngbluth. I move for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Vitale. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It's all good. There's more time for that. He opted against the speech. Okay, we will now move on to items 8, 9, and 10. I'll ask for a motion to send those to the city attorney for a legal opinion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Barzak and a second by Alderman May. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Standing committee reports, we have none.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that the Common Council stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Vitale. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in recess.